Hey, this is Steve Siebold, and hopefully in the last 48 hours, you've had a chance to take the artificial intelligence-based professional speaker assessment. This thing is an absolute monster. It basically is designed to answer the question, do you have what it takes to become a professional speaker? Now, why is this important? Because for 70 years of this business, people have always wondered, in the non-celebrity category, celebrities get paid to show up. Okay, let's be honest. People want to meet celebrities, take a picture with them, and put it on social media, and that's all great. In the non-celebrity category of professional speaking, which is where most of us live, why is it that so few people make it? Well, we all have ideas that have been successful in the business. There are a lot of reasons that happens, but with the advent of artificial intelligence, our idea about 9 months ago is, could we combine the artificial intelligence robot, so to speak, with decades of experience in this business to really accurately predict a score, a numerical representation that someone would take an assessment and get a number and it would be dead accurate. And until 48 hours ago, frankly, we didn't really know. I mean, not for sure, but we field tested this obviously over the last 9 months, but we really didn't know when we put it out there. Well, several hundred people have taken it all over the world in the last 48 hours, and it's so frighteningly accurate. It's just freaking me out. It really is, because we work so hard in this. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars doing this, lots of people's time, hundreds of man hours, all the whole thing. But the thing is just, this assessment is just amazing. It really is. So if you want to find out, do you have what it takes to become a professional speaker? I promise you, this is the most accurate thing ever created. Now, you may like or you may not like the score you get. It's artificial intelligence, okay? It's not designed to, suck up to people and please their emotions. It's designed to give you a probability score, so you know where you stand. And then on top of it, what we do is you get an immediate score. It takes about 3 minutes or so or less to take this assessment. And then once you take it, you get an immediate score. The highest score you can, it says this on there, but the highest score is 64. I scored 62 and I helped develop the assessment, which is kind of scary in itself. Okay, the robot is the AI robot's the only thing that scored 64. Okay, since in the last 48 hours, I know a bunch of these speakers, because we're testing this obviously to our warm market of speakers, which is, several thousand people around the world. A lot of them are in the business. 7- and 8-figure speakers are scoring 58, 59, some 60, not too many 60s. But people that are aspiring to be in this business, emerging speakers, they call them a lot of times, or newer speakers, or people that are thinking about speaking, and maybe they're in Toastmasters, or they were a speech major in college like I was, or whatever, and they're just they're kicking the tires, thinking about going into this business. They're scoring far below, what it takes to really do this. But that doesn't mean that they can't make it. It means that there's a different path that we recommend based on the AI and based on decades of experience with our team. We recommend a different path that they take so they can build themselves up to become successful 6- or 7-figure professional speakers. This has never been done in the history of the industry. This is, of course, artificial intelligence wasn't around, so that kind of explains it. But this is so accurate. Anyway, I'll keep repeating myself if I don't shut myself up here. But it's just amazingly accurate. You have to take this. Like, if you're into speaking at all, and if you're not, you probably wouldn't be watching this video. But you got to take this thing, because it will freak you out how accurate it is. Okay, one of the things, the pieces of criteria that has always been one of the key, factors for success has been, are you an expert? And does your expertise, is it commercially viable, is really the bottom line, okay? Is it commercially viable? There's a lot of people out there. We get calls for the last 25 years. We've got, because we own the Bill Gope Speech Workshop, has trained, as you probably know by now, more professional speakers than any program in history by so far that I don't even know who number 2 would be. So it's very successful since 1947. So we get calls every day, and they have for 25 years. And the most common thing people say in 25 years is, I just want to tell my story. I just want to tell my story. I just got out of jail. I want to tell my story. I just got divorced. I want to tell my story. I lost one of my kids in a car accident. I just want to tell my story. I just made $1 billion. I want to tell my story, and so forth. And it's really great that people want to tell their story, and stories are very impactful. It's a big part of speaking. The question is your story or what you present commercially viable? It either is or it's not. Okay, it either solves a problem for enough people or an organization or a company that they're willing to pay for it, or they're not. Now, most stories they're not willing to pay for it. Most stories are not commercially viable. We tell people that all the time, and a lot of times people fight it and say, "Well, I'm going to forge ahead," and they spend 20 years, going nowhere, talking to themselves. And so the people that tend to make it in general, just to give you sort of a kind of a hack, if you will, the people that tend to make it overall are experts, are people with expertise that can solve problems that the people will pay for. They're commercially viable. Okay, for example, when I got started, I was in mental toughness training, and I worked with professional athletes and sports teams like the Miami Marlins and the Boston Celtics and the Ohio State Buckeyes, and people like Andre Agassi and Jim Curry, and great athletes and that kind of thing. And I had success. I wasn't getting paid anything. I never made more than $40,000 a year doing that because I was in the wrong market. But I figured if I could convert that content, that mental toughness, psychological performance training content, to a commercially viable market, then that would be a different thing. And of course, that's what I did. And that's what most speakers that do very well do. They take their expertise, they convert it to a commercially viable market if they don't have one already, and boom, they're successful. And everyone says, how are they pulling a rabbit out of a hat? Well, they're not. They have a commercially viable expertise that solves a problem that people are willing to pay for. But most people don't have that. Okay, if you have that, you're probably going to score high. I'll tell you right now. You may not, but you probably will score high. Okay, so that you have to ask yourself that question first. Okay, the website to go to this, by the way, if you haven't done this, is if you haven't taken this assessment, you got to take this. Okay, you got to take it. Paidspeaking.org. Paidspeaking.org. Take the assessment. It's all free, of course. It's all free. And again, it only takes about 3 minutes. But not only do you get an immediate score out of 64, to give you an idea of your commercial viability or the probability of your success in this business, it doesn't mean it's forever, by the way. So if you score low, don't be depressed. It doesn't mean you can't build yourself back up, okay, or build yourself up from the beginning. You might be a young person and you've got a low score. It doesn't mean, I can't be a professional speaker. It's not like that. It's not like professional sports, where, I was a professional tennis player. When you're 22, 23, and you're faster than lightning and you're a really great athlete and everything, you're not going to be a really great athlete for that long, okay, unless you're just one of these freaks of nature, which, are anomalies. You have a few years. You have maybe, 10 years if you're lucky, and that's it. Speaking is not like that. The older you get, the more gray hair you have, the more valuable you are because the wiser you are, the more world experience you have. You know when things are BS. You can spot BS a mile away. And you can bring that to audiences. And you can bring your wisdom and your failures and your successes and all the rest of it. So my point is, if you score low, don't feel bad. Okay, if I would have taken this assessment in 1996 when I started, I would have scored in the probably the low 40s, and which means I would have had a low probability for success, or low probability for success. But I would have continued to go. Don't hold yourself back and say, well, I got to do something else now. No, you need rudimentary training. You probably need strong platform skills. You need a platform, a piece of content that you can sell, or a program you can sell, and that's commercially viable. You probably need platform skills. You need that. You need marketing. You need sales. You probably need a bunch of things that you might not have now for whatever reason. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you want to be in reality. You want to know where you're starting from. Okay? These guys, these hotshots that are scoring 57, 58, 59, 60. And for those of you that are watching this and you scored 55 or above, and you're not getting paid at least $200,000 or $300,000 to speak every year part-time, you're throwing money away. I'm trying to be as nice as I can. You're throwing money away. You don't understand the business. You have everything it takes, but you don't understand the business. Okay? I was going to say $1 million, but I'll play it down a little bit. All right, just so it doesn't sound like I'm exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating, but if you've got that kind of score, you should be making a lot of money in this business. And if you're not, something's wrong. Okay, now here's the beauty of this assessment. Not only are we going to give you a score immediately, but we're going to tell you, based on AI, based on decades of experience with our team, we're going to tell you the next step you should take based on your score. So don't skip that part. We have a fair amount of people, for some reason, I think this is crazy, but a fair amount of people are skipping the recommendation part. I wouldn't do that. That's the whole thing. You want to know where you are. Like when I used to assess tennis players, college tennis players that wanted to go pro, I meet with their parents, sitting across a little desk that I had in Florida, in Bradenton, Florida, where I live. And the parents would say, here's what we want him or her to do. And I'd say, based on where you are right now, because I'd work with them for 4 or 5 hours to see where they were, I'd get all the criteria that it takes to be a professional tennis player when they start in college and the path they need to take. And I would give them a path to success, a success path. And if they followed it, most of them became pros. And if they didn't, they failed. That's what we're trying to do with you as a professional speaker or an aspiring or emerging professional speaker. Okay? Now, let's say you're knocking down 200 grand a year and you think you're selling yourself short. Well, you probably are. You should probably be making $2 million a year doing this. Okay? We're going to recommend a path, even if you're a high scorer, you get 55 or above, and you're not making, if you're scoring 57, 58, and you're not making at least $1 million a year, you're giving money away. I'm just telling you. So my point of all this is, whether you score high or low, take the path that we recommend. Go through the entire process. You don't have to take our recommendation, but at least get our recommendation. Our organization has funded this, and it's cost a fortune to do this over 9 months, or a fortune for us as a small business. And so you get it for free. This is all free. All right, none of this can cost you anything. So get the recommendation so you know where you are. Then you can decide whether you want to do it or not. But the score that is the kind of the line in the sand is 48. Just so you know, everyone's wondering about this. We've been getting this from all over the world. People are like, what's the high score, low score differentiation? If you're a 48 or above, that's like getting a B. Let's say a 48 is a B. If you want to grade it like in school terms, it's a B. Okay, you start to get up to 54, 55. Now you're in the A category. Okay, you get 59 plus. You're in the A plus category. All right, but 48 or below. Let's say you got a 45. A lot of people scored 45, 44, 43. Don't feel bad. We're going to recommend a path that you need some foundational things to give yourself a chance to make it. One of the best pieces of advice I give all the time to the speaking business is, you're not going to luck your way into this. This is not like winning the lottery, okay? No one's going to discover you like they do on American Idol. It doesn't work like that, okay? So you want to take recommendations, or at least consider them, and then take a path to success. You want to follow a prescribed path that's proven. And that's my story. That's how I made it in this business. That's how almost everyone makes it in this business. Someone told us exactly what to do. When I was the first person to go from $0 in terms of speaking revenue to $1 million in National Speaker Association, I got interviewed all over the association. And they said, what was your secret to success? I said, I had a mentor, Bill Gove, who knew what he was doing. He introduced me to other mentors, Larry Wilson and Bob Proctor. And they told me exactly what to do, and I followed their advice to the letter. I was a very, very good student. Wasn't that good in school. I was a good student in tennis, and I was a very good student as a speaker. And that's what I did. And people would say, oh, it has to be more than that. You have to be talented, gifted, etc. Nope. I have a lot less talent than a lot of speakers out there that fail. But I can follow the yellow brick road. I'm not the brightest bulb in the box, but if you give me a path, I won't question your expertise. I recommend you do the same thing, because that's what it takes. And this is the most accurate thing I've ever seen in 25 years in this business. So it's all free. So you have nothing to lose. So go to paidspeaking.org, take the assessment, but don't forget to take the recommendation. To go down the path of the recommendation. Again, you don't have to take the recommendations. It's not going to cost you anything. Okay, I recommend that you do, of course. That's why we made the recommendations, but you don't have to. So you don't have anything to lose here. Do your research, do your homework, walk down the path. You might disagree with us and say, well, I totally disagree. Okay, no sweat. But at least get our opinion, because between AI and our team, we have, decades and decades and decades of experience doing this. And plus, you'll enjoy the process anyway. It's a lot of fun, and I look forward to comment on this video if you've taken it, the assessment, what you think about it, good, bad, or in between. I don't know how it'd be bad, but whatever it is that you feel about it, and I'll look forward to reading those things. And most importantly, the reason we're doing this is because we want to help people make it. I traveled the world before COVID, for 23 years. I've lived my speaker's dream. I did everything I ever wanted to do. I've been on every television show out there. I've sold, almost 2 million copies of my books. I've spoken in, auditoriums with 10,000 people probably 100 times. 15,000 people, 20,000. My point is, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying all the things that speakers dream about, I was fortunate enough to do for 23 years. I'm done doing that full time. I want to help you succeed so you can feel what I felt on stage. And signing books and doing TV shows and radio. If this is your thing, and obviously if you're watching this, it probably is. It's like the coolest life in the world. There's ways to make money faster. There's ways to become a billionaire and all those things. Speakers don't become billionaires typically. No one has so far, I don't think. But it's not about that. It's about impacting people's lives and living your dream. And you can do this. I don't care if you score a 35. You can do this, but you have to take steps to do it. You have to take the right steps. You're not going to wing this. You're not going to do this this is not a do-it-yourself project. Okay? You're not applying for a job at Sears or Home Depot. Not like that. This is a very serious business. You have to be savvy or follow people that like I did. I wasn't savvy, but I followed savvy people like Bill Gove and Bob Proctor and Larry Wilson, and they gave me the pathway to success. I want to do the same for you because I know you'll love it so much if you're able to do it. So few people, you guys, live this dream. And it's really too bad. And I'm just dedicating the rest of my life to helping people do it because I want you to feel what it's like to live, to walk into that dream over and over and over for years and impact people's lives all around the world. It's really, really, something else if it's your thing. And so lots of fun. So go to paidspeaking.org, take the assessment, and I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching.